Hi again, how are you? I am not bad, thanks. So I maintained at 290 like I said I would in the last video, but that's okay because my fat percentage went down again, so that means that I lost some fat and more importantly gained some muscle. That's a big deal because although it will take another week of perspective to figure out how much lean body mass I lost while I had that cold, if I had to estimate it right now, I'd say at least a pound, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but if I'm going to make my year-end goal of 30% body fat, I can't afford to lose any more lean body mass. In fact, to be on the safe side, I should hope to gain about 2 or 3 pounds of muscle in the next 6 months, which should be doable, I think. It's not easy, obviously. If it were easy, I would have been doing it already, because I have been lifting weights for 3 months consistently, and although I'm noticing more bulk in certain areas and I'm much stronger than I was when I first started, it obviously isn't enough to compensate for the loss in other lean tissue elsewhere. So for that reason, I'm giving hypertrophy-specific training a try. It's supposed to optimize muscle growth as opposed to optimizing overall gains in strength. Give it a try, see what results from it. And so that started this week. So I started on Monday, and I'm happy to report that that week off seemed to have no impact, or maybe even a beneficial impact to my overall energy, because even though I was still a little sick on Monday, I was able to do everything I asked of my body fairly easily, so that was good. Another cool thing that happened during the week, I think it was on Wednesday, I was at work and my shoelaces became untied, and I just bent over and tied them back up, which doesn't sound like a big deal unless you're as fat or fatter than I am. I haven't done that in years, not without sitting down first or propping my foot up on something. I didn't even think about it until after I got up, and I was just like, wow, I can't believe I just did that. That's awesome. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, change number 6. Well, that happened almost 3 months ago, so I should get to it. It started on my birthday, which was March 28th, so I wanted it to be more of a fun one than my other changes have been. And it has to do with surrounding myself with a high-energy soundtrack. And that doesn't really have to do with weight loss directly, but has more to do with energy and my psychological state. When I was in my teens and my 20s, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that when I was awake, regardless of whether I was working or not, I had high energy music playing the majority of the time. And when I was losing weight, music was a huge part of that, had an integral part in it. And but when I went back to school in 2003, I lost a little bit of that because music became more of a distraction. And then since I graduated, I've been more inclined to listen to like while I'm in my car, I've been more inclined to listen to CBC, which is like the Canadian version of NPR, and other talk radio. And I've been more into reading and more into my feeding my interest in politics and other nerdy things. So this change is more about going back into that musical mode and restarting the funk motor. And the funk motor is something that a lot of guys back in the old school funk era in the 1970s talked about, and I'll try to describe what I think that is hopefully without sounding too crazy. When I was 23, I really got into James Brown and the other old school funk artists. It was 1998, so at the same time, funky house was in its ascendancy towards the height of its popularity in the club scene, which is great because I like my funk on a foundation of solid 4 on the floor house beats. Anyway, when I found that if I settled into the groove and felt the music with my guts and danced from the guts out, and what I mean by that is instead of thinking about the music and assigning, movements to your arms and your legs and your torso, I just felt it with the guts and let it flow from there, like let it all flow out instinctively from there. And I found that it actually gave me more energy than I used. And I also found that it didn't just apply to when I was dancing, it applied to when I was doing anything, really, and not moving much more than just swaying my spine. I was able to, by moving with my core, I was able to generate a lot of energy out of that. And so what this change is, it's about restarting that funk motor that I used to use a lot. And the only challenge in this change is sifting through a lot of really crappy dance music to find the good funky stuff that I like, because the good funky stuff has gone back underground. It's not easy to find. And also I guess the challenge is also forcing myself to listen to it even if I'm not in the mood to listen to it. But it fits my life, it fits my personality, it's realistic, and I will be more than happy to do it for the rest of my life. So anyway, there's change number 6, bringing the beat back. Have a good week, everybody. I will see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.